All I hear is talking, I don't sweat that. If they don't trust me either, I respect that. If she be down the ride, oh, I bet that.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is JH. How y'all doing, Postal family? Is everybody good? Is everybody cool? Is everybody clean? Are you crisp? Are you feeling airy? Let's talk. So, what'd you think about that, the parcel lockers there? Oh, we saw that name Pitney Bowes again, right? Yeah, we'll get into that in a second. I ain't gonna leave y'all with a cliffhanger this time. We'll get into them in a second. But they are the innovators of creating these lockers, these slash mailboxes that they're either duplicating or they'll be utilizing in the near future for us. You heard it right there, for government agencies. So tell me what you think, if that's gonna eliminate some of the crime going on. I mean, that'd be nice, right? Yeah, that'd be nice. And yeah, so I wanted to touch on something else before we get into this Pitney Bowes thing. A couple weeks ago, I spoke about at my plant, them telling everybody not to have cell phones on the floor for Bluetooth connectivity, etc., etc. And my main thing, I believe, in that video, probably about a month or so ago, was what happens in case of an emergency, and they really couldn't give no straightforward answer. And then sometime earlier this week, I believe I told you guys about, one of our fallen soldiers at the plant. And unfortunately, some of my, the plant manager had a conference with everybody, and she was saying that we should have a moment of silence for this hardworking gentleman, etc., etc. And I heard that they got a little aggravated. They were aggravated, they were pissed off because, number one, nobody knew what to do in case of an emergency. They were running around, they were calling people on the walkie-talkies, and instead of the individual that was on duty that night calling 911, that individual called the plant manager in order to get information on what to do next. Now, apparently the individual that was no longer with us when they passed out or whatever, the people that were around them, they claimed, the individual claimed that they had to walk all the way back to their locker room to go get their phone out of their locker before they were able to call 911. Plant manager in turn said, well, why you just didn't use one of the phones sitting around here? And they said, we did use those phones, but it wouldn't dial out. And then she said, well, all you had to do was dial 9 before dialing out. And then they said, well, no one ever told us that. I mean, there's so much to dissect with this. It's disturbing. But, I can't bash them any more than I already do. But get it together. Because it's not that if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen again somewhere in USA. Because when I mentioned that, you guys put in the comments where it happened in your area. It's not an everyday occurrence, but we don't have access to 911. No one knows what to do next. No one knows where the defibrillator is in the building. Nobody knows where the eye wash station is. Hell, does anybody even know where the Band-Aids are in a building? Seriously, I mean, it's funny. My police officer buddy told me that we should reach out to OSHA and see if they can help get the people trained. And I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna find out if that's a route so that people have the option to get trained in CPR. And, not to report my place, because my place, you know what happens when they report. OSHA will contact the plant and say, hey, somebody called in on you guys and we're going to be coming there tomorrow. So, and they'll find a way to get through it. It's pathetic. It is. It's pathetic. We have a bunch of people that don't belong in upper management. Management doesn't understand that it's not just numbers. It's dealing with people. It's dealing with circumstances. It's dealing with situations. It's dealing with a bunch of what ifs. It's dealing with a whole scope of running an operation, not just sitting on the phone or sitting in your office and thinking that you're accomplishing the world. And I'm sick of this. Anyway, let's talk about this Pitney Bowes for a second. So I told you guys the other day, Pitney Bowes, it is what you see, but it's not what you think it is. So people were saying, aren't those our buckets and our trays that they're using? Yes, they were. But logistics. And I hope you guys can follow this and understand this. United States Postal Service is a last mile delivery service. Last mile delivery service. We're not the beginning and end all. If somebody is out in China, they have their own postal service. Somebody out in Europe, they have their own postal service. They ship it however they can, right? They ship it internationally, and then somebody has to deal with it. This doesn't go on our plane, but eventually it makes it to us, right? To get delivered. If it's mail, it'll eventually make it to us. We are last mile delivery. FedEx is last mile delivery. UPS, last mile delivery. Understand that. Now, when you have a major business such as Allstate, such as Geico, hell, when they do the running for the United States president, you see all those flyers that go out. When you see AAA, those things get sent from a central location. And Pitney Bowes runs that type of pre-sort mail. So Pitney Bowes originally created the mail canceling machine many years ago. So that's why you would see it in a bunch of businesses. They would, you can get your metered mail through Pitney Bowes. So if I worked in a business and we had a little mail room, we can just mail stuff out without having to take all our mail and bringing it to the post office. They created the meter system that we use. So people think that, they're using Pitney Bowes because it's cheaper for mail. Something like that. The bulk quantity, because they actually created the canceling machines. Damn near all the machines we have are made by Pitney Bowes. And you guys can't say that if we had more work that you guys would want to do it. It doesn't work like that. So last mile, remember we're last mile. Allstate says, hey, we want to send out this, and they send something through the computer. We need 2 million of these things sent out to every home USA. Pitney Bowes will somehow either, I don't know what they do with their computer system. They'll get them, they'll print them up, they'll send them through. And sometimes they have addresses. Actually, I don't think so. Well, sometimes they do. And they'll get them going. And then they have them in these bulk trays. Those bulk trays end up going on a truck. When those bulk trays go on a truck, you can guarantee, 110% guarantee, that's going to a plant. That's what it is. It goes to a plant for our people then to sort it into districts. So they may have one center over here. This is going all to New York State, and they'll send it over to New York State. And then this is going to this plant in New York State. This one is going to this plant in New York State, and they'll cover the whole state. And if they got 10 plants, they have stuff going to each of those 10 plants. That's pre-sort. When it gets to the plant, then those plants run it through the DB machines, and it goes into the areas and districts and zip codes. That's what they do there. Okay, so they do pre-sort everything Pre-sort everything. If you guys ever saw a 569 label, which is usually at the stations, that's for returns, ground returns. That gets picked up by Pitney Bowes. Are they doing our work? No, because that stuff goes through them to wherever it actually came from. It's not that they have our mail or they're doing our work. Somebody that's like a you or me that mails a piece of mail does not go through Pitney Bowes. They have Pitney Bowes machines. Now I can have one if I had enough, whatever my business was. Let's say I was a t-shirt business and every, week I sent out a bunch of different things about t-shirts, and if I wanted to buy a Pitney Bowes machine to scan, it'd have to be worth it. And they pay a certain amount over the United States Postal Service in order to use the labeling and the machining. So understand, it sounds a little more complex than what it is, what you guys saw. You guys saw these beautiful machines and everything like that, and you said, oh, that's our work. There's nobody taking our work. There's nobody taking our work. Why can't we do the pre-sort? That's not what we are. We have never been pre-sort. Never. Never, ever, ever. FedEx is in pre-sort. UPS is in pre-sort. We, the United States Postal Service. Y'all don't like touching mail, period, in the first place. You think they're going to give you guys more to do? More? My buddy said to me, he said, I don't understand how come we can't relay mail long distance. I said, have you ever seen how many people call out on a regular basis? So imagine we had to get mail over to, let's say, from New York to California, and our USPS driver drives, and he can drive 300, let's say 250 miles one way. He'll switch with another driver that's coming from the other way, and they switch trailers and they go the opposite way, right? We can network all these trips. Half the drivers wouldn't show up. They're going to call out, and then one driver's going to show up. The other driver's not going to make it there. We're honestly, we're not dependable. We're not. Let's keep it real. Our people call out just because of weather. We're not dependable. You know who shows up? Those over the road long distance contractors show up because they don't have it as good as we do. They making money and they got to keep their families fed. We take what we got for granted because we feel like it's always going to be there. And no, I'm not knocking the post office. I'm knocking the people that take what we have for granted, because there's no other place that we can get away with the foolishness that we do. And that is reality. We can't handle what we really want. We want more work. We want it. Nobody wants to really do it. We want it just to say we got it. What more work could we get? We wanted more work. They gave us Amazon. Everybody complained about that. We wanted more work. We had SurePost from UPS, and they're taking their stuff back. I hear people complain about that. We should only just be delivering our stuff. Well, we are only delivering the majority of our stuff right now, and there's people that ain't got no hours, and they're going broke. There's a lot of carriers now complaining about 20 hours a week. I remember 2 years ago, carriers was complaining about 60 hours a week and they couldn't sit down. Their feet was hurting. And now, no work. We giving everybody back their work. We just focused on parcels now because the mail ain't there. And think about UBUM, the mail that we throw away, UBBM. A lot of that is pre-sort mail that comes from Pitney Bowes. That's all that is. So they're not doing our work. So where's our mail at? I'm just going on and on about it. And there could be plenty of people to debate about it, but the reality is, you know as well as I do that our people are not reliable. I can't go to work one day when everybody shows up to work. It's impossible. It is impossible. And for somebody that wants to get in the comment section and start fussing back at me, just know the moment you start that fussing, people know it's you that calls out all the time. Just so you ain't fooling nobody. Well, suppose people that means it's you. If you're defending people for calling out all the time, then it's you. Because if I was really sick and I needed to have medicine, and my carrier decided not to show up to work and my medicine needed to be there today, are we really that reliable? That's why people stop using us. It's sad and unfortunate. And this is not a life lesson. This is real life. Nonetheless, this wasn't really one of those IRA videos. This is one of those things to make y'all think, make y'all talk, and go at it in the comment section. Like it or hate it, it's reality. It's what it is. But tomorrow we'll have something a little bit better for you guys. All right, this is JH, and we out.
Unexpected expenses stressing you out? Get the money you need now with Loans for Feds, a program designed specifically for federal employees. Bad credit is not a problem. Application is fast and easy with same-day approvals. Apply now.